Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if this is your first time visiting this channel, click on the subscribe button and smash the notification bell so that whenever I post a new video, you will get notified as soon as possible. Yeah, so it's a new week here again, and just as we normally do, we go through these few pairs and see what the market has for us going into a new week. And last week was very interesting. All right, we had a very interesting price action. Whatever plan I put out for last week really played out as expected, right? And I mean that was very phenomenal. And so if you watched last week's analysis, I mean you have no reason not to be profitable last week. But let's go through these pairs and see what this week has for us as far as the market is concerned. Let's start with the dollar index. So for the dollar index last week, I spelled out this range. All right, yes, I marked out this range high, this range low. Price was around this area, and I told you I'm expecting to see how price is going to react within this area, such that if we see a break above this range, then definitely you're going to see price push to the upside. If you see a break below this range, and then you're going to see price push a little bit further to the downside, of which we saw this happening on Wednesday. Yeah, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we saw price taking out this low, and then Thursday we saw price breaking back into the range, and Friday we saw price trying to push up, and then getting to the market close we saw price rejecting and trying to move to the upside. So currently this is how the dollar index reacted last week. And so going into next week, if you can see, there is a fair value gap here. All right, we've had a market shift. All right, price failed to take out this high. It tapped into this zone, came out here and gave us a market shift. So we've had a market shift, and we've had a fair value gap here. All right, I'll take this as my fair value gap. All right, I'll take this as my fair value gap. Yes. And so going into next week, I want to see price take out Friday's high, tap into this fair value gap, and then we see price push to the downside. Remember, there is also another fair value gap within this zone. This is a fair value gap. All right, this is a fair value gap. And then below the fair value gap, we have an order block. I'll take this as my order block, which makes this fair value gap very powerful. All right, and then right after the fair value gap creation, there was a break in structure here. All right, a break in market structure here. And so going into next week, I want to see price tap into this fair value gap, shift to this fair value gap, taking out this sell side liquidity. This is a sell side liquidity. I want to see price take out this sell side liquidity as well as this one, tap into the fair value gap before we see a continuation to the upside. Because at the moment on the weekly time frame, the dollar index is still bullish. Yes, the dollar index is still bullish on the weekly time frame. So I want to see price next week revisit this zone. Then we see how the market is going to react from that point. So going into next week, I'll be expecting price to push up a little bit before we see a downside movement. And of course, next week there is a red week. All right, because next week we have FOMC and then we have NFP. All right, here. So next week is going to be very crazy. Next week is going to be very crazy. On Tuesday we have Euro, that is French bank holiday, as same as Italian bank holiday. So the market will not be so much active for the Euro pairs. And 2 p.m. we have high impact news, that is the manufacturing PMI and then a job. Wednesday we have the non-farm employment change. This is just the preliminary stage for the real NFP. And then we also have 6 p.m. FOMC statement. All right, we have FOMC, and then Thursday there is GBP high impact news, and Friday we have the NFP. All right, here. So next week is really packed. So you are going to see a lot of heavy volatility in the market, or a lot of liquidity injection in the market next week. And so this move, I mean, is going to happen if it should happen. All right, it's going to be very easy for us to see price move here on a Monday, Tuesday, then we see a push to the downside here. So that is my expectation on the dollar index. Let's look at what is happening on Euro USD. So for Euro USD, last week I made you aware that I want to see price take out this high, and we saw it doing it beautifully. All right, we saw it doing it beautifully. So we had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, yeah. So Thursday we saw that impulse move to the downside, of which Friday, this is how the market reacted on Friday. All right, we didn't have a clear direction of the market on Friday. And so going into next week, I want to see price continue further to this zone before we see a push to the upside. All right, yes. So this is what I'm expecting to see going into next week. This is what I'm expecting to see going into next week. Let's shift to the 4-hour time frame and see what is happening. And so this low is going to be my area of focus. All right, once price breaks out of this low, I'll start looking for selling opportunities. All right, I want to see this then into this zone. So that is going to be my expectation going into next week. This low, I'm going to focus on this low, and so you should be watching this low too as well. So that is just that for Euro USD. Let's look at what is happening on GBP USD. Let's what's happening here. So for GBP USD, we saw price clearing this high. All right, taking out this buy side liquidity and taking out this buy side liquidity as well. And so right after this impulse move, the next thing we expect is the correction. Price is bullish. Price is still bullish on the higher time frame. And so going into next, I want to see price take out this low. All right, I want to see price take out this low, come back to the zone, then we see price push here before we see a continuation to the upside. Yeah, so that is my expectation. That is what I'm expecting to see on the market going into next week. That is what I'm expecting to see on the market. Let's look at what is happening on Nasdaq. Yeah, so for Nasdaq last Friday, market was I mean, the whole of last week, Nasdaq Nasdaq gave us a very, very beautiful price action. All right, before the start of the week, I've already marked this zone. I was expecting price to come and tap into this zone to push to the upside, and just as we are seeing, it did exactly that. All right, yes, I took some buys on Nasdaq, and man, it was crazy. That was crazy. Friday alone, we had Nasdaq moving 4.78%. Man, this is crazy. All right, this is one of the things I love trading Nasdaq so much. I mean, price action is so precise that once it gets into that area that it needs to revert, quickly it reverses. Unlike the currency market that we are seeing these days, that when the price gets to a zone, you see that no price, as price has gotten to this zone, you're expecting to see the market move to the upside or to the downside, but you see price consolidates for a long time, taking out a lot of traders before you see the real move happen. And when it happens, I become so frustrated. All right, because I'm not comfortable involving myself in such price action. But Nasdaq, the stock indices market, has been very, very phenomenal the whole of this year, and I'm beginning to love it. All right, yeah, I'm beginning to love it already. And so going into next week, I want to see price retrace a little bit. All right, we've had a very huge impulse move. All right, let's switch back to daily and then let's do something. We've had a very, very move to the upside. All right, a very, very heavy impulse move, and right after that impulse move, what do we expect? A correction, right? So I want to see price trade back to fill up at least 50% of this block we are seeing here before we see a move to the upside. But let's switch to the 4-hour and see where the 50% is going to lie. Let's switch back to the 4-hour and see where the 50% is going to lie. Let me add up the visibility. Yeah, so let's go to the 4-hour and see. Yes, so I want to see price at least come back 50% and a little bit below the 50% for me to be able to detect my discount range before we see a move, a continuation to the upside. Yeah, so that is going to be my expectation on Nasdaq going into next week. All right, that is going to be my expectation on Nasdaq going into next week. Yeah, so that is just that for Nasdaq. Let's look at what is happening on S&P 500. So for S&P 500, price is also still bullish here, right? I mean, S&P 500 and Nasdaq have the same, I mean, price action looks similar, all right, because they are positively correlated market. So for S&P 500, we've seen an order block being formed here, all right. We've already seen an order block being formed here, which is very good, all right. These are the kind of price action that we love to see, or I love to see. So once this order block has been formed, I would be expecting to see price come and tap into the open of the order block before we see a continuation to the downside. But let's switch to the lower time frame and see. Yeah, so I want to see price come and then tap within this range before we see a continuation to the upside. Yeah, so that is my expectation on S&P 500 going into next week. All right, yeah, so that is just that is what I'm planning to look out for on the market going into next week. I hope you've really gained value out of this week's forecast. All right, yeah, so if you haven't subscribed yet, just hit on the subscribe button and then smash the notification bell as well. All right, and let me know what you think in the comment section. All right, what are you also looking out on the market as far as these pairs are concerned? What are your buyers? What are you looking out for the market to play? All right, yeah, so let me know in the comment section, and don't forget to like this video as well. It helps reach out to other traders in this community. And if you're not part of my Telegram community, so just check the description box below. The link is there. Click on the link and be part of the Flax Trading Telegram community. Yeah, so that is just that going into next week. Until I come your way, stay safe, and I wish you all the best going into next week. Be very careful, because next week you're having FOMC and NFP, which is the market is going to be very, very crazy. All right, yeah, so before you trade, wait for your setup. All right, if your setup is not playing out, I mean, just stay on the market. Don't stress yourself if you're not seeing your setup. All right, just walk away, and I mean, you're going to save yourself from unnecessary losses. So that is just that going into next week. I'll come your way again another time.